with the first presentation by Norbert Mocsai from Esports 1, and he's going to talk about online consumer behaviors and communication in the gaming field. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to talk about a rather complex topic because I should summarize 120 pages of studies in 15 minutes. So I'm going to talk about highlights and fun facts. But if you are participating in the esport industry and you are trying to make sales, you most likely met these problems and challenges in Hungary and in the region because people usually do not understand what this is all about. So to summarize this whole problem in just one picture, just showcasing the face of CEOs when I'm talking to them about esports, this is the meme that comes to mind: esports and gaming. And then my only chance is that maybe this given CEO has at least a kid who is playing PUBG or Fortnite or some kind of shooter games, because then I can find a way and explain him or her what this is all about. At the same time, this is a very important topic because if you are taking a look at online consumer habits, we see that online marketing agencies are facing a huge challenge because consumer habits are completely different than ever before and how they usually approach their campaigns. When I'm having these discussions, these are the usual stereotypes about gamers. And in our last research, we tried to find some answers to these questions. It often comes up if you take a look at me, kind of a couch potato. I also considered myself an esports champion once, but so the usual stereotype is esports players are sitting in a dark room surrounded by pizza boxes, and they do nothing else, just pressing their computers, and that it's harmful, it's not good for the kids, and it should be abolished as an activity. And then we hear that Counter-Strike is a violent game, and it's not a good idea to invest in these games image-wise for companies. But once you take a look at the Y generation and the Z generation, and I do not want to talk about HR issues, but I could tell you a lot about the Y generation. So we see that one of the main channels is actually gaming when it comes to communication towards the Y and Z generation, because there are new platforms appearing. And I'm not going to ask you whether you heard about Discord, because you are all going to raise your hands. But if I went to an online marketing conference and it happened in the spring, and from 100 people, 8 knew about Discord, 15 about Steam, and Twitch maybe 12 out of 100 people. So that was the awareness at an online marketing conference. At the same time, these are the platforms of the future where you can reach the Y, Z, and Alpha generations. And Discord is slowly turning actually into a business application, matching the qualities of Skype. The other important topic is television and the appearance of streaming, which is usually not really appreciated by media companies. We are having talks with the TV channels, and they do not understand why what as a platform is important for us, more important than appearing on a cable channel. We have to pay attention to streaming. And big companies are in Switzerland. VoiceChat is having lunch at the moment, but they are doing a campaign in Switzerland, and they basically did a skin. They did a skin in Counter-Strike for KFC, and so the logos and chicken breasts appeared on the map. It was a huge marketing idea. Of course, I do not have to introduce you to Discord, but this is the biggest gaming chat platform with 200 million users globally. And at the moment, I've just read yesterday a blog which stated 250 million users, and they have 315 million messages per day. Among the age group under 25, they are market leaders, and now we can read it in the news. And that's the same with esports one as well, that every communication happens on Discord, so it's basically gaining market compared to Skype. And it's hard to tell where it's all going to end, because you can see that Discord has the kind of the same path as Twitter, because they are also struggling with making actual profit from what they do, and it's going to happen with Discord as well. But if global enterprises and communication agencies do not move towards Discord, then they are going to lose people under the age 25. We also have Twitch, which is beating YouTube all over the place. And YouTube has its own gaming platform at the moment, but Twitch has a bigger market share at the moment. It's no wonder that Amazon made a huge investment in Twitch, and related to the V4 festival this year was that when we were doing the marketing campaign, Google AdWords immediately blocked the site, because Amazon, through the integrated Twitch application, tried to do different kind of metrics, and AdWords blocked the campaign immediately, and so we had to solve this situation. So it seems that Twitch is actually a battleground of marketing campaigns, and meanwhile YouTube gaming is struggling with 15% market share, while Twitch is having around 40%. And you can also see here that it is a market leading platform in the age group 18 to 25. And within 5 years' time, these people are going to be decision makers, CEOs, and so on, and they know Twitch and Discord and not YouTube, for example. And this is something that should be considered by marketing consultants and decision makers of today. At Steam, I don't know how many parents we have here. Mine is only 1.5 years old, because a friend of mine upgraded Angry Birds by themselves, and then they just noticed it from getting a notification about debit card payment. So they are the little decision makers, as I usually tell, or as I usually say, because parents who know less about gaming usually call me up during Christmas, and then they say that, oh, I should make some kind of in-application, in-game payment, and how can I do that, and what can I buy on Steam? So this is really a money-making machine. It's a huge marketplace, and most of the parents actually know that, because you only see that kids are asking for credit card information to buy the golden skin for their favorite weapon. But you have to know that Steam has a great effect on the gaming industry, and it also has a good effect on the fintech industry. These kind of microtransactions are slowly appearing in our everyday life. It all started with gamification, the badge system, and then microtransactions appeared in the fintech world. and now we can buy cheaply all games cheaply, and then slowly, step by step, they actually gain 3 times as more as selling a normal A title, AAA title. When you receive a message about last year's spending, just delete it without reading, because it's a huge amount, and you would never think how much you actually spent over a year by this step-by-step method. And so this is just a summarization, a summary. The activity rate of this generation is very important. Why? If you took a look at TV activity, you see that after 10, it's a dead zone for television, and they do not really care about things happening after 10 p.m. While in gaming, activity raises after 10 p.m. and it peaks around between 10 and 1 at the night. And so the traditional marketing deals with the peak between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. And TV peaks around 9 and 10. But gaming is completely different. You have this kind of night activity in that field. Facebook is old school, and we have to say this, because as soon as the parents appeared on Facebook, the kids disappeared to Discord, for example. I realized that I'm old when I started playing Battlefield 5, and I met a group of young people, and we started playing together to win the Battle of Leningrad all over again. And I asked them whether they want to talk over Skype, and they just laughed, and that was the time when I got to know Discord. So I'm just saying, what we consider main channels, like Facebook, for example, is completely outdated for them. It's also very important to know that these gamers are interested in junk food and energy drinks, and the foods and drinks which are considered to be unhealthy by the mainstream media. It's an overrepresented segment among gamers. They are very popular, and they are closely connected to home deliveries. For example, Counter-Strike teams came to Budapest, and they had nutrition experts as well, but still it seems that among general gamers these are very popular. They are also very loud, and if brands make one mistake, then it's going to spread quickly and in a very articulated way. And they are going to broadcast their negative experience on every possible channel. Voice chat and streaming is where they live, and they would never move out of this comfort zone. And new heroes are born. I was in Katowice visiting the championship, and kids came along with a similar kind of build-up as me, and then he was basically run over by hundreds of fans, and he had to sign their objects, their gifts, clothes, and so on. So it's quite clear that they are the new Cristiano Ronaldos. They are new heroes of our time. And the esport creates personal brands for these people. Just to take a look at the numbers, here you see the region, some estimates, and it's also based on the research. When it comes to hardcore gamers, The V4 has around 2.5 million hardcore players. And the secondary group, video game players, is actually 10-15 million players. Esport is booming, skyrocketing, and most of the esport events have a similar or even higher prize pool than traditional sport events. For example, half of the esports event have a higher prize pool than the Wimbledon tennis tournament. Just a couple of figures. League of Legends and Super Bowl had a difference in viewership only 3.6 million. And so it might happen this year that Super Bowl and League of Legends will have the same viewership, or even League of Legends might have a higher viewership than the Super Bowl. 454 million esports viewers, followers, and there are 2.7 billion gamers all around the world at the moment, according to the estimations. Hungarian figures, there are 3.7 million gamers in Hungary at the moment, and 1.2 million are considered themselves hardcore gamers, and the esport community is around 400,000 people strong. We have a very detailed study on this, by the way. These are only the highlights. And the most active are the age group between 18 and 25. It's mostly male dominated. And 81% of Twitch streamers are men. And finally, just a few words about the Hungarian market, which is quite small, annually 24 billion Hungarian forints when we consider peripherals, console sales, and so on as well. And when it comes to stereotypes, it's important to know that we also measured how much time they spent on traditional sports, and we found no difference. So gamer and esport athlete does traditional sports the same amount of an average person, although they usually prefer sports building stamina. There is a huge difference between hardcore gamers and casual gamers. You can tell this at the weekend, because hardcore gamers are playing 5 hours or more during the weekend, and the casual gamer is someone who is spending at least once a week. Within 5 to 10 years, they are going to be in the backbone of our society, actually. They are going to be the backbone of our society, and for them, gaming, esport is going to be a basic activity, an experience since their childhood. And we also see that among kids, mobile is the strongest platform. All in all, desktop is leading the way at the moment, but when it comes to the kids, the youngest, mobile is the most popular. In case of FIFA, has a huge console dominance, and I think you cannot really break that. And a final slide. It's important to know that they are the target group of the future, and when we are talking about Google AdWords, performance campaigns, you cannot reach them through these traditional methods and channels. You have to think about alternatives, Twitch channel, sales, and so on. That's the only way to reach this generation, and not with Facebook campaigns and AdWords campaigns. They also have a different activity, and companies have to realize that they can be quite active at night, for example, and they should provide, for example, a night customer support for them. Everything should be available via mobile, That's no surprise. Microtransaction, Easter eggs, instant payment, they are an impulsive target group. It all depends on a good message, and they are going to buy it instantly. And gamification is basic operation for them, even at the workplace. So it should be connected to their professional life as well, even in the business sector. For example, with us, we have a development company. We have half an hour of Call of Duty, and then at the weekends we also have LAN parties. So I was on the third place in Call of Duty so far, but we have new kids on the block, so I'm losing my rank there. I'm a bit over my time, sorry about that, but I had to summarize huge amount of data. Thank you very much for your attention.
Nagyon szépen köszönjük Norbinak az előadását.
Thank you very much, Norbi, for this presentation.